The Fire Within by Krista Lacey. We are now on page 246, Decision Time. I want to see them, Lucy declared. She stood up straight, beaming like a lighthouse. But I have to go to the bathroom first. She tightened her fists and stomped from the kitchen. Right, said Liz. While Madame's out of the way, what's the plan for these squirrels? Sophie looked to David for a lead. Leaning back against the counter, he said, I think Lucy's right about the library gardens. I agree, said Sophie. Conker will struggle in natural woodland. And if we let him go here, David continued, there's no food and he's in danger of encountering Henry and the Crow. The gardens are quiet. People feed the squirrels all the time. It's a good place as any, better than most. Sophie gave an encouraging nod. Right, said Liz. Gardens it is. And if my daughter ends up with a criminal record, I'm doubling your rent, young man. Thanks, David snorted. You're welcome, said Liz. We'll take my car. On the drive to Scrubley, Sophie said to David, Tell me about this story you're writing. It's brilliant, piped Lucy, twisting around in the passenger seat. It's about how David went to the gardens, and the squirrels thought he was a nut beast because he stole their acorns, and Snigger followed him home, and... Breathe, said Liz, pulling up at some lights. Lucy breathed in. Got trapped in a nut box by mistake. So it's true? David wiggled his fingers. Based on truth. He adjusted his knees to keep the cat carrier as level as possible in his lap. He's been writing it down for Lucy, said Liz, steering the car down Main Street, turning it into a real story. Gosh, said Sophie, arching an eyebrow. You must have a wonderful imagination. Not really, said David, with a shrug of modesty. That's right, Lucy added. Gadzooks does it all. No, he doesn't, the tenant snapped back. Sophie looked puzzled. Who's Gadzooks? David's dragon, said Lucy. Mom made him a special story writing one. Liz caught Sophie's eye in the mirror. I'm a potter. I make clay dragons. Penny kettle pots and crafts, said David. Sophie thought for a moment, then her face lit up. Not those spiky winged dragons at Scrubbery Market. Yes, said David and Lucy together. Oh, but they're lovely. I keep meaning to buy one, but I never have the money. Do you have a shop somewhere? Just a studio at home. The Dragon's Den, said Lucy. Entrance by invitation only, muttered David. I'll show you around later if you'd like, said Liz. Sophie glowed with delight. Oh, yes, please, the Dragon's Den, roar. Actually, it's more like, her, said David. Liz flashed him a look in the rearview mirror. For no apparent reason, David jerked in his seat as if he'd been stung. The carrier bounced on his knee, bringing forth a chatter of annoyance from within. What's the matter? Asked Sophie, looking up at him and down. David shook his head. Nothing. I'm fine. He appeared in the rearview mirror again. Liz's eyes were back on the road, but in that moment he'd held her gaze. There was no mistaking what he'd seen. Her normally vivid pale green eyes had sparkled a very different color, violet, just like the dragon he had seen in his dream. Now we are on page 251, Bye Bye Conker.